This is Solar Impulse TV. Hello, wherever you're watching. This is another update for you. It's our handover update. It's our first handover briefing update. Every day we have two teams that meet at this point twice every day, every 12 hours, and they hand over the information from the previous shift onto the next shift. And it's a good moment to catch up for us as well, to find out what's been happening and what we can expect over the next 12 hours. In just a few moments, we'll have a chat with Andreas Völlinger, who was pretty much leading that last briefing. He's going to be there every briefing. He never sleeps. Well, he sleeps at some point, but he works some very odd shifts. So that means you get the pleasure of his company twice a day, and so do we on Solar Impulse TV. Now, we have some guests here today. Maybe you can see them. We've got a number of people who've come over from Switzerland today. Hello to all of you. Thanks for joining us today. Energie und Klima Pioneers. Can we see them on the large? There we go. We can see you all. Wave to all your friends. There you go. And they can also join in here and find out all the latest as well. But before we do, why don't we take you back to the beginning of this flight? 1803 UTC, that's 1803 GMT, yesterday, Sunday. We took off from Nagoya in Japan for Hawaii. Now, we didn't communicate this first of all, and some of you may be wondering why. Well, there was also a maintenance flight that was built into this. So there was a possibility that we'd take off, do some tests, realize the plane couldn't continue, and head back to Nagoya. But in fact, that didn't happen. We then went on to the point of no return, and that means it's Hawaii or bust. And now we're looking ahead to Seoul 2, the second day for Solar Impulse. But now let's head back. 1803 UTC yesterday. When the plane took off, here's what happened.
A 44-hour flight gave an indication that we should be able to manage, that we can fly through the night, that the airplane has a good performance. Now we have to be able to do it over 5 days, 5 nights at least. So I guess it's still in front of us, but we have a good indication and good morale and great spirit, and I guess a very good preparation as well. So I'm ready.
Okay, André, we made a lot of emotional speeches for the first 2 attempts to go to Hawaii. Now we make it a little bit more sober, and the circumstances just push us to say that we all support you, André, from all our heart. We wish you all the best, an absolutely great flight, and although I try to make it sober, I'm really moved. You cannot imagine. And Prince Albert is next to me, and he will give the official go, and then the adventure will start, my friend.
Okay, Andre, this is Prince Albert. It's a great pleasure to be back at the MCC and to wish you all the best for this fantastic crossing of the Pacific. So, good sun and Godspeed. And Andre, you are clear to proceed with the takeoff procedures. Thank you. Have a great flight.
Thank you very much. Prince Albert, I mean, really great. It's a very special moment. I really hope we can talk together in 5 days on the other side. So looking forward, and thank you for everything.
'1803 UTC, that's GMT yesterday, Sunday, the official takeoff time for Solar Impulse 2, with Onno Warschberg, the pilot, heading off from Nagoya in Japan on what is going to be an extraordinary adventure, 5 days, 5 nights, over 120 hours, and he will be helped along by the team here at Monaco Mission Control. I've got one of the team members here, Andreas Furlinger. Hello, Andreas.
Hello.
And a little earlier we had our first handover briefing, so looking at what the previous shift has been doing and the next 12-hour shift. Well, first of all, why don't you just take us through some of the key moments from the previous 12 hours?
Well, we had a very smooth takeoff. We had good takeoff conditions, and the first part of the flight contained the maintenance flight. And the reason for the maintenance flight is because we had some smaller damages because of our last stop in Nagoya.
Okay, let's remind people what happened in Nagoya. So there were no problems in the flight to Nagoya. The problems actually took place once the plane was on the ground in Nagoya. Can you just briefly take us through what those problems were?
Correct. So we had to land in Nagoya, and the aircraft was not protected the first hours on ground. So there was a cover which we used to protect the aircraft until the mobile hangar would be ready. And the people there worked hard to protect the aircraft. And we had, nevertheless, some smaller damages due to the cover protecting the aircraft. So we had to repair parts of the aircraft, and therefore we have to make a maintenance flight to make sure that the aircraft is safe again.
Okay, so we had to get a team out from Switzerland who came out to repair. We had some of our expert technicians who are based at our workshop in Dubendorf, which is just outside Zurich. And as we know now, the repairs went well and we passed the point of no return. Now, let's be clear about what that means. There's no way back, is there?
Exactly. So the point of no return is calculated to reach or to be able to fly back to Nagoya due to different reasons. But since we passed this point yesterday, or actually tonight, we are not able to go back. So now we have to continue to Hawaii.
Okay, now we have some of the graphs, some of the maps that you and the team use. Let's see what we can see now. I think we've got the flight plan. I can see it behind me there. Now this is the flight plan. As we can see, it's not a straight line. We're not going directly, are we? We have to go north, well, south first of all, then north. Why do we have to go north?
Okay, first maybe to mention, as you can see, it's not really our departure where we have the start. It's now our current position, or the latest position we took for updating this plan. So yeah, and coming back to your question, the reason why we have this route to Hawaii, the route is first optimized according to the wind situation we have. So we use the wind in an optimum way. So we use it as a tailwind as long as possible. And then second, we also have to avoid clouds. And that's the reason why the routing looks like that.
Okay, so getting as much tailwind as possible for speed, and then sometimes slowing down as well to avoid clouds if they're in front of us. And you have holding patterns built into this as well. So that means there are points at which the plane is practically not moving.
Exactly. We have several holdings included. So a reason for a holding is, for example, in the planning stage to have some buffer to allow to adapt to the current situation. And on the other hand, we have weather phenomena en route which we have to cross, like the front. We have to cross the front twice. And to take the front at the correct time, we have to implement a holding before to adjust our flight profile according to the front, so that we are able to cross low clouds during our climb.
Okay, when you're talking about weather front as well, you're talking about conditions that are too difficult for the plane to fly through.
Exactly. Yeah, we cannot fly through clouds, so we have to avoid them. And the frontal system has also low clouds, medium level clouds, and we have to take them during day to fly over them. And we have to also make sure that we don't have clouds above us, like cirrus. We have to avoid them, especially during day, so that we can recharge our batteries.
Okay, now talking of batteries and being as efficient as possible. We can also see some of the graphs you use to calculate the future, how much energy will be used to make sure you can get through the night and onto the following day. And we'll first take a look at the 5-day forecast. This is the forecast from now right the way through to Hawaii. Let's take a look at that, Sol Day 1 to Sol Day 5. And there we can see just how complicated it is. Now, that shows you the altitude profile, the plane rising during the day and then descending during the night using altitude energy and then batteries. The lowest altitude here is, we can see 8,000 feet, so that's 2,400 meters, you told me earlier, thank you very much. Okay. The red at the bottom indicates cloud. We want to stay above the cloud at low level, and the green we can see at the top is also a high-level cloud. So now I can see a lot of cloud on this. If I didn't know any better, I might think this is looking a bit scary, but you seem quite happy with this. Tell me why.
Yeah, the weather window actually is very good. So we have here good conditions for our flight to Hawaii. We don't have intensive weather phenomena, so for the time being, so the weather phenomena like the frontal system is very weak. And yeah, the cirrus above us are just a few, and we are able to avoid them almost all the time based on the current weather situation. We will have to adopt anyway, so with new weather updates we will have to adopt. And as you can see, almost all the time during the day we try to stay out of the high cirrus clouds, which would block the sun hitting the aircraft.
Which means no electricity, which means that batteries don't charge up and we can't carry on, which we want to avoid, of course.
Yes.
And finally, Andreas, we're going to take a look at the next 12 hours because we'll be back with you in 12 hours' time for the graveyard shift briefing. And before that, it'll be energy neutral morning. And we can see energy neutral morning on this next map. This is the Sol 1, Sol 2 planning map that you use. Now, the dotted green line, when it reaches down to the bottom, and we can see the vertical green line, they're pretty much in the middle of this map. Now, this is our energy neutral morning. Now, this is critical for many reasons. Well, why would you say, what's the most critical thing about energy neutral morning? It's, well, no batteries means no flight, means we all go home.
Yes, exactly.
I'm not an engineer, I'm sure you wouldn't use language like that, but that's what it means to me. We want to keep going, don't we?
Yeah, so at the end of the day, we start descending, as you know, and we use our potential energy to fly for approximately 5 hours. We glide to 8,000 feet, which is our current loitering altitude. Then we use our battery to be able to fly through the night. And as soon as the sun rises, we have to make sure that we can collect energy, that we are free of clouds. So at energy neutral morning, which is the time at which we have exactly the same energy coming in as we have to use for powering our engines.
So which means the batteries are no longer going down. That's the crucial point.
Exactly. So this point, energy, or this time actually, energy neutral morning, is also the time where we have the lowest battery state of charge. And we have to make sure that we have at this time still enough energy to not descend further.
Now, I saw behind me earlier one of the elements you can see on the website. I haven't informed my TV crew, so maybe they won't be able to show it to you. But if you look on the website, on the cockpit icon, oh, they can, they're geniuses back there. Look, this is what we want to see. Now, we can see the 3 different modes of the airplane with regards to energy. We're in mode 3. Mode 3 using only battery power, and you can see the batteries are going down slowly but surely. We're still around 80%, but there's still quite a way to go for André Borschberg throughout the night. Then it'll switch to mode 2, which is a mix of sun and battery power. And what we want is mode 1. That's the after energy neutral morning in what you call efficient sun mode.
Correct.
Keeping it efficient as possible.
Yes.
This is what it's all about on this project, keeping it as energy efficient as possible. And we're going to try and keep this update efficient for you on Andreas, because you need to do things like sleep sometimes as well. And we'll be back for energy neutral morning. Maybe we'll see you there, or will you be asleep at that point?
I will be at sleep now. So I will go to bed now, so then I will be back at energy neutral morning.
Okay, always welcome. Around about 20:30 UTC tonight. So come back for that. It's going to be our big show. This is really the crucial point of every 24 hours. We'll have plenty of videos explaining more about Solar Impulse, our Future is Clean initiative. You'll see how the paper plane challenge is getting on. We'll be speaking to André Borschberg, our pilot. I understand that he'll be raring to go and happy to speak to us. Maybe get a few words from Bertrand Piccard, initiator and chairman, and currently the non-flying pilot, pilot. He, of course, has plenty to say about where we are now on this longest flight we've ever done in 12 years of Solar Impulse, 120 hours to cover. We've covered about, what now, 17, 18% so far. We're doing quite well.
We are doing quite well, yeah. We are right now in the loitering altitude of the first night, so the pilot has time to rest, he has time to eat, he has time to prepare the cockpit for the next day. So, yeah, we're good.
We're good, as it should be. Thank you very much, Andreas, and do carry on watching. SolarImpulse.com, stay with us. We have continual coverage, and you can see the pilot in the cockpit. Do have a look around the website as well, and take a look at all of the telemetry, all of the data that the pilot can see, that the Mission Control Center team can see. You can see them too, from now until we land in Hawaii. We will speak to you soon. Come back again for the Energy Neutral Morning Show at 20:30 UTC tonight.